So let's see if there's anything else in here. Because there are, I think, some little alcoves around here that could theoretically be hiding some stuff that might be a little bit tough to find, so be careful not to miss anything, but looking good so far. That's, I believe, where we came in from. And over here, doesn't look like it at the moment. It's the armature we hacked. This is another one, actually. So yes, there are several that you can do, and so it's a little bit hard to get to these ones that are further away, given how there are a lot of Geth in this room initially. But if you can at least get to the first one, then that, in theory, takes a lot of the fire away, or can take a lot of the fire away from you, and perhaps buy you some time to get to the next one, and then, you know, the more of them you can get up, of course, the easier it becomes. But we did it the old-fashioned way. No, that was not good. So, we made it work. That was also not good. One moment. A huge opening here, so this helps. This definitely helps. Ah, I was hesitant once more. There we go. Okay. So, again, just doing it for a little bit of extra experience, because it does give you some, even after everyone else seems to be gone. And, you know, just an armature party over here. For mature audiences only. Armature audience only. That's the Armature Bay. So there you see it is a fitting name. Alright, we did have someone using Frictionless Materials 9, I think it was us, on the explosive shotgun that we put on. And that's another thing that you could theoretically use if you find yourself getting rushed down, as we saw we were getting rushed down when all those destroyers came attacking us. This crate might be the one that was kind of the most difficult to find, the type of thing that we were hoping we might come across. I do like how this side is comparatively much more open, but then again, there's just like a non-stop wall. When was I supposed to actually get in there, you know? Ugh. No. No. Almost had an opening there. It's possible, and there were some potential opportunities there, but I didn't quite get them. Got lots of hard decryptions here. Not easy from a hacking standpoint. There we go. That's what we need. Alright, and that being said, not like we got anything particularly good there other than some credits and some experience. But I think that's it for here for now. In which case, let's check out this security panel. See if there's anything else up here. But no, that looks like it.
Come, Saren already has a head start. We have to go find him before he reaches the conduit.
Unless he's already found it. Then we're just walking into a trap.
That is a chance we will have to take.
Hold on. Something's happening.
Too late. Unable to... Invading fleets. No escape.
Sounds like some kind of message, but I don't recognize the language.
It is probably in Prothean. This recording must be 50,000 years old. No wonder we cannot understand it.
You guys can't understand it? Because it sounds perfectly clear to us.
The message is all broken up, but I recognize some of the words. It's a warning against the Reaper invasion.
Of course. Between the beacons and the cipher, an understanding of the Prothean language would have been transferred into your mind.
Not safe. Seek refuge inside the archives.
What's it saying? Can you make out anything useful?
Fought Reapers. The Citadel. Overwhelmed. Only hope.
Kind of hard to tell.
Act of desperation. The conduit. All is lost.
Yeah, I mean, hard to piece things together other than just the general panic.
It said something about the conduit. but it's too degraded to help. We should go.
Cannot be stopped. Cannot be stopped.
Okay. If you say so. Alright, and in that case, we take a look at our journal here. We have an update. Theron and his troops have disappeared into a sealed bunker beneath the surface of Ilo, sealing the doors. And we want to enter the archives. The security system is disabled. Turn to your vehicle and follow Saren into the underground archives. Okay, let's see. And in order to carry on, let's see, not this way. We might be able to go around that way, but this way? Question mark? Might just go backward through here. So nope. There we go. It's hold on. Up here. Here we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Gonna go through there, I think, just making sure we aren't missing anything at the moment. Don't think so. Okay. Hold on. Oh. No. Take it back. It is, below this, it seems. Down and through here. That's it. Alright. So now we find ourselves at another elevator here. And this one may look familiar by the time we get out of it. And, well, does appear to be an armature there. Look at our map, and this is the elevator that we saw near where we landed with the Mako. I think this is the armature that we technically, both the armatures that we technically deactivated previously. I thought they just disappeared after we used the deactivation device down in that direction. But now that we come back, they are apparently just, they're just chilling. They're just chilling, and they're, I guess, the equivalent of an armature ragdoll. I'm not sure if they're technically supposed to be there, or if this is technically kind of sort of a bug. But there you go. We got the opportunity to admire the armatures up close. One of the rare times in which they are not actually attacking us, although I suppose down in that building we were just in, when we axed the armatures and had them fighting for us, that is also a time when that could theoretically be the case. But anyways, enough about that. Let's start moving here. Because that door that we saw Saren go through right when we first got here on Xylos, in theory, is the very door that we just unlocked in that security area, and well, let's hop in the Mako. And you actually, I should note, I believe you technically do need to be in the Mako for this. Or at least long-term you will need the Mako, so worth noting that even if you feel like, sure, I can go in here on foot, don't do it. And, well, that is very, very zoomed out. Ilo's archives. We're here.
I have spent my life studying the Protheans, but I never dreamed I would discover anything like this. This bunker might have been the last refuge of their entire species. Just imagine what mysteries it might hold. Imagine what secrets it might reveal.
Please, try to remember why we're here. Saren, the conduit, the fate of the entire known galaxy.
I am sorry. I was swept up in the moment. I just hope we have the opportunity to study this place in detail after this is done.
I thought Saren would have set some kind of trap or ambush for us. They must have been in too much of a hurry.
Or we just have yet to run into it.
That may be, but keep your eyes peeled here. And keep your ears peeled as well, because you may notice something about the music we're listening to here. Or at least the music that we're starting to listen to here. Yes, these are the archives. And it is pretty huge, this area.
What are all those things on the wall? Some kind of containers?
They look like stasis pods. The Protheans probably tried to keep themselves up.
Oh. I may have cut them off a little bit there. I deliberately tried to stop for the previous conversation to make sure they could finish it in its entirety, although I'm sorry, Yara may not have quite finished her line there. But the idea there was, I mean, fortunately there are subtitles, so worst comes to worst, you can pause it and look back. But the idea was stasis pods, to summarize. Still, oh, this guy. Actually, two guys. One moment, please. Rude. Very rude. Excuse me. I'm trying to run you over right now? You're not really going down nearly as quickly as I would like it for you to go down. There we go. One of them. You done? You're done. Okay. Got them both. Yeah, now maybe a little more obvious what I was referring to when I was talking about the music. Yeah.
What is happening?
It's a trap! Saren must have set an ambush!
It's a
I
trap!
think Saren is behind this.
Well, so, it's a barrier. One that we cannot get through with the Mako, and one that even if you try blasting a hole through it, will not work. We gotta get out on foot here. We can take a closer look at these stasis pods. And let's save here as well. And here we go. The music. So, in case you didn't catch it, this is, or was, as of 5 seconds ago, the main menu for Mass Effect 1 music.
For decades, but I have never felt this sense of foreboding. What will we find down there?
Whatever we find, be cautious. If this were simply an automated trap, Saren would have triggered it as well.
So this is the main menu music, and that is absolutely my favorite song in the Mass Effect 1 soundtrack, possibly the entire Mass Effect soundtrack as a whole, and just a general thing for me when it comes to any game that I'm playing, especially games that I really love, is that I love to see when and where they decide to include the main menu theme in the game itself. Because most of the time in games, you will find that there is a moment in which the main menu theme comes out, and most of the time that is sort of the signal, the symbol that, okay, whatever is about to happen is really big, really important. So I always think that's really curious, really interesting to see what times, what moments, what situations are the developers deem worthy of such an honor, and always gets my attention whenever that happens. And so we're about to see. We are about to see. With Vigil.
You are not Prothean, but you are not machine either. This eventuality was one of many that was anticipated. This is why we sent our warning through the beacons.
Looks like some kind of VI program. Pretty badly damaged.
I do not sense the taint of indoctrination upon any of you. Unlike the
Remember
other
that line.
passed recently. Perhaps there is still hope.
That is
This
actually
is incredible.
potentially one of the most
An
important
actual
lines in the
Prothean
entire game.
VI, and I can understand it.
I have been monitoring your communications since you arrived at this facility. I have translated my output into a format you will comprehend. My name is Vigil. You are safe here for the moment, but that is likely to change. Soon, nowhere will be safe.
Okay. Lots of questions. What exactly are you?
Are you some kind of artificial intelligence program?
I am an advanced non-organic analysis system with personality imprints from Kesad Aishan, Chief Overseer of the Ilos Research Facility.
Okay. What do you want? What is your purpose here? I mean, you say that we're safe right now, but we won't be in the near future. So, in theory, that should mean we have time here.
Why did you bring me here?
You must break a cycle that has continued for millions of years. But to stop it, you must understand, or you will make the same mistakes we did. The Citadel is the heart of your civilization and the seat of government, as it was with us, and as it has been with every civilization that came before us. But the Citadel is a trap. The station is actually an enormous mass relay, one that links to dark space, the empty void beyond the galaxy's horizon.
What?
When the Citadel relay is activated, the Reapers will pour through, and all you know will be destroyed.
So, the Citadel is a gigantic trap set up so that the Reapers can ambush people where it will hurt them the most in the capital of their entire government. So, okay, let's start with the Citadel being a relay part.
How come nobody ever noticed the Citadel was an inactive mass relay?
The Reapers are careful to keep the greatest secrets of the Citadel hidden. That is why they created a species of seemingly benign organic caretakers. The Keepers maintain the station's most basic functions. They enable any species that discovers the Citadel to use it without fully understanding the technology. Reliance on the Keepers ensures no other species will ever discover the Citadel's true nature. Not until the relay is activated and the Reapers invade.
So, the Keepers are basically the way that the Reapers prevent people from figuring out the truth behind the Citadel. The Keepers are the ones that keep things operating, and so the occupants of the Citadel never fully understand what the Citadel is capable of and how it works, and so for that reason, other people never realize that the Citadel is actually a gigantic mass relay. But what about the Reapers in dark space and using the Citadel to launch an attack, it seems like you're saying?
How do the Reapers survive out in dark space?
We have only theories. The researchers here came to believe the Reapers enter prolonged states of inactivity to conserve energy. This allows them to survive the thousands and thousands of years it takes for organic civilization to rebuild itself. But in this state, they are vulnerable. By retreating beyond the edges of the galaxy, they ensure no one will accidentally discover them. They keep their existence hidden until the Citadel relay is activated.
Okay. So they stay out in dark space where they try not to be discovered. Theoretically vulnerable while they're out there, though. But then once the Citadel relay has been activated, then they swarm in. So if that is to happen, and who knows how many Reapers are to attack the Citadel, and who knows what else, then that sounds like our chances are not very good.
The Reapers can wipe out the Council and the entire Citadel fleet in a single surprise attack.
Exactly.
That was our fate. Our leaders were dead before we even realized we were under attack. The Reapers seized control of the Citadel, and through it, the mass relays. Communication and transportation across our empire were crippled. Each star system was isolated, cut off from the others. Easy prey for the Reaper fleets. Over the next decades, the Reapers systematically obliterated our people. World by world, system by system, they methodically wiped us out.
So you didn't surrender to the Reapers? Even when there seemed to be an insurmountable force facing up against you?
The war was lost. If you had surrendered, they might have let you live.
No offer of surrender was ever given. Our enemy had a single goal: the extinction of all advanced organic life. Through the Citadel, the Reapers had access to all our records, maps, census data. Information is power, and they knew everything about us. Their fleets advanced across every settled region of the galaxy. Some worlds were utterly destroyed. Others were conquered, their populations enslaved. These indoctrinated servants became sleeper agents under Reaper control. Taken in as refugees by other Protheans, they betrayed them to the machines. Within a few centuries, the Reapers had killed or enslaved every Prothean in the galaxy. They were relentless, brutal, and absolutely thorough.
So the Reapers attacked the Citadel. Once they had controlled the Citadel, they used that to gain knowledge of everything that the Protheans were doing, and could use that to quickly and efficiently exterminate basically all Prothean civilizations, all Prothean establishments, and at least in the case of the Citadel itself, before the Protheans had any time to react, and, any time in the case of more distant locations to prepare their forces accordingly. And then, sounds like the Protheans, in some cases, got indoctrinated, and then the Reapers used those indoctrinated Protheans as agents of sorts to sabotage and betray their brethren, and in doing so, take out other Prothean civilizations from the inside out. So, yeah. Questions here for if the Protheans wiped out, or rather, if the Reapers wiped out the Protheans, then, for the most part, don't appear to be here, other than, currently we obviously know Sovereign is, but it's not like there's some huge Reaper fleet that's attacking. So, why did the other Reapers leave in that case?
I don't understand. Where did the Reapers go after they conquered your people?
Our worlds were stripped bare, harvested by the indoctrinated slaves. Everything of value, all resources, all technology was taken. Certain that all advanced organic life had been extinguished, the Reapers retreated back through the Citadel relay into dark space, sealing it behind them. All evidence of the Reaper invasion had been wiped away. Only their indoctrinated slaves were left behind, abandoned. Mindless husks, no longer capable of independent thought, the indoctrinated soon starved or died of exposure. The genocide of the Protheans was complete.
And that is how the Protheans became extinct. Okay. But why? Why do they do this?
What do the Reapers get out of this? Why do they keep repeating this pattern of genocide over and over?
The Reapers are alien, unknowable. Perhaps they need slaves or resources. More likely they are driven by motives and goals organic beings cannot hope to comprehend. In the end, what does it matter? Your survival depends on stopping them, not in understanding them.
Yeah, but understanding them might help us stop them. So how do we stop them?
You said you brought me here for a reason. Tell me what I need to do.
The conduit is the key. Before the Reapers attacked, we Protheans were on the cusp of unlocking the mysteries behind mass relay technology. Ilos was a top-secret facility. Here, researchers worked to create a small-scale version of a mass relay, one that linked directly to the Citadel, the hub of the relay network.
The conduit is not a weapon. It is a backdoor onto the Citadel.
Okay, so the conduit in that case is, a secret way onto the Citadel. And, that could help us get back over there, but it could also help Saren get back over there, and, if he can sneak a whole bunch of Geth through there, or who knows what else other members of his army, then he could suddenly show up and have an entire army to attack the Citadel without even having to worry about the approach. Who knows where this mass relay, the conduit, would actually take them on the Citadel, but if they're already in the Citadel, then they can presumably get past many of the layers of defense the Citadel has set up. So, okay. Although, that being said, you recently said that the Reapers were able to wipe out basically all Prothean settlements, and so how did this settlement on Ilos seemingly, for the most part at least, avoid destruction from the Reapers? Because you say they basically destroyed, wiped out all technology you had set up, which although, and that being said, we have of course seen and heard about many other locations where other people and species in the Milky Way have deliberately sought out places that have Prothean ruins in order to try to get old Prothean technology that they could potentially use to reverse engineer some important pieces of technology of their own. And that's eventually what made humans able to use faster than light travel when they found Prothean technology on Mars. So it's a little bit strange, but I suppose at least large scale, like full-blown cities and what have you, completely wiped out. I mean, Pharaohs, I guess to a certain extent, you could say, had some of that that type of stuff going for it, because it was a Prothean city at one point in time, and there were certainly still some things remaining there. But anyways, the big point here is, seemingly this would have been the type of place that the Reapers would make a point of absolutely decimating, so how are you still standing?
How did you manage to stay hidden?
All official records of our project were destroyed in the initial attack on the Citadel. While the Prothean Empire came crashing down, Ilos was spared. We severed all communication with the outside, and our facility went dark. The personnel retreated underground into these archives.
Yeah.
To conserve resources, everyone was put into cryogenic stasis. I was programmed to monitor the facility and wake the staff when the danger had passed. But the genocide of an entire species is a long, slow process. Years passed, decades, centuries. The Reapers persisted, and my energy reserves were dwindling.
The Reapers were active for hundreds of years? I mean, you said they wiped out basically everything, but I guess I was under the impression that since they had all the information they needed to do so, and they had the firepower, that they did so relatively quickly. I suppose, Milky Way is a big place, so it probably does take a long time to wipe out everything that you are trying to wipe out, but still, that seems like longer than I would have expected. But anyway, so basically everyone who was working on Ilos shut off all communications from the Citadel, and so was sort of off the grid, so to speak, and so that was a way to avoid Reaper attention, and so it seems like they just never found out about this place for that reason. And what you did was all of the researchers here, all the Protheans, hid in those Stasis Pods, and Vigil here, this VI, was programmed to manage them and make sure that was using the energy appropriately to keep those pods in a state where they could maintain cryogenically frozen, and monitor and assess and determine when it was safe to release, maybe a better word, release the people from cryogenic stasis. And because it took so long for the Protheans took so long for the Reapers to leave, it sounds like things did not go terribly well.
You should have fought.
We were a few hundred against a galactic invasion fleet. Our only hope was to remain undetected. I began to disable the life support of non-essential personnel. First support staff, then security. One by one, their pods were shut down to conserve energy.
Ooh.
Eventually, only the stasis pods of the top scientists remained active. Even these were in danger of failing when the Reapers finally retreated back through the Citadel relay.
There were hundreds of stasis pods out there. You just shut them down? You killed them?
That does sound pretty terrible, but at the same time, what's the alternative? Like, what else could they do? I suppose Vigil Gear could release people from stasis, cryogenic stasis, even when the Reapers were still here, and then that would mean that the scientists that are out are, I mean, either they're trying to fight off the Reapers, and at that point, you know, having waited a long time, they're even less than the 100 or so people, and who knows how many were left, but, you know, 10 people fighting against an army of Reapers, definitely not going to work, in which case, what, you need to try to continue to stay undetected, but, if you're no longer in cryogenic stasis, then that means that you have to somehow find a way to sustain, your outpost here, and, sustain life without having any contact with the outside world, which, sure, maybe initially was feasible when you had the full staff and you had, you know, people to perform the necessary tasks to actually sustain a settlement of some variety, you know? Need food, need water, presumably need power source, and who knows, any of a number of other things, depending on how ambitious you're getting. And with just a small number of people, you just can't really do that in a sustainable fashion unless you are, you know, getting a bunch of shipments from other places to supply you with the things that you can't do yourself. And you can't do that if you're trying to hide from a gigantic swarm of Reapers. So, I mean, it is monstrous, but at the same time, it may have been necessary.
You were programmed to protect them, not kill them.
This outcome was not completely unforeseen. My actions were a result of contingency programming entered on my creation.
I bet they didn't tell the non-essential staff about this contingency.
Probably.
I saved key personnel. When the Reapers retreated, the top researchers were still alive. My actions are the only reason any hope remains.
I mean, you have a point.
When the researchers woke, they realized the Prothean species was doomed. There were only a dozen individuals left, far too few to sustain a viable population.
Exactly.
Yet they vowed to find some way to stop the Reapers from returning. A way to break the cycle forever. And they knew the Keepers were the key.
Okay. I mean, the Keepers definitely important, seeing as how they are the ones that, I think, from what we've pieced together, are they the ones that are actually sending the signal to the Reapers that, hey, now's the time to make your move? Of course, they're the ones that are making things happen on the Citadel, in the Reaper's stead, so I assume so. But then, I mean, you say the Keepers, but then the Conduit, what about that?
I still don't understand what's going on here. Why is Saren trying to find the conduit?
The Conduit gives him access to the Citadel and the Keepers. The Keepers are controlled by the Citadel. Before each invasion, a signal is sent through the station compelling the Keepers to activate the Citadel relay.
There you go. That's it.
After decades of feverish study, the scientists discovered a way to alter this signal. Using the Conduit, they gained access to the Citadel and made the modifications. This time, when Sovereign sent the signal to the Citadel, the Keepers ignored it. The Reapers are trapped in dark space.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty huge success. If we only have one Reaper rather than who knows how many, because we, at least the Protheans, have successfully found a way to prevent the Keepers from sending the signal. So, how... I mean, can they still find a way to get over here?
Saren must have some plan to undo everything you did.
The one you call Saren will use the Conduit to bypass the Citadel's defenses.
Right, that was the
Once
primary thing I was
inside, he
saying.
will transfer control of the station to Sovereign.
Oh,
Sovereign
that sounds
will
bad.
override the Citadel systems and manually open the relay. And the cycle of extinction will begin again.
Yeah, that sounds like something we need to stop. Can you help us with that?
Is there any way we can stop them?
There's a data file in my console. Take a copy when you go. When you reach the Citadel's master control unit, upload it to the station. It will corrupt the Citadel's security protocols and give you temporary control of the station. It might give you a chance against Sovereign.
Wait, where's the Citadel's master control unit? I've never heard of anything like that.
Through the Conduit, follow Saren. He will lead you to your destination.
Okay, I mean, we're kind of hoping to get there before Saren, but I suppose he does have a head start. So, okay, let's ask some more questions here. What about Sovereign specifically?
If the Reapers are trapped in dark space, how did Sovereign get here?
It is logical to assume the Reapers would leave one of their own behind after each extinction. A sentinel to pave the way for their inevitable return. Like those in dark space, Sovereign probably spent most of the last 50,000 years in a state of hibernation. Periodically, it would wake to analyze the situation. Keeping its existence hidden, it would evaluate the state of galactic civilization. And when the time was right, it would signal the Citadel and usher in the next Reaper invasion. But this time the signal failed. The Keepers did not respond. Sovereign's allies were trapped in the void. Alone, it was forced to try and discover what had gone wrong.
So, the Reaper's plan was to leave. Well, they attacked and wiped out basically the entirety of the Protheans. Then, almost all the Reapers retreated to dark space. They left Sovereign, and Sovereign's job was to stick around and occasionally analyze how things were going post-Protheans, and then determine when it was time for the Reapers to all return to wipe out a whole bunch of species in the next cycle. However, when Sovereign sent the signal to the Keepers to make all that stuff happen, it didn't work because the Protheans that we, have learned about here created the conduit, which was a backdoor relay to get directly onto the Citadel from Ilos. They used that and messed with the Keepers so that when they sent out that signal, it was supposed to be the thing that told them to open up the relay to allow the Reapers to get in from dark space to the Citadel and start their attack for the next cycle. That broke down, and they couldn't do it, and so then Sovereign got mad, had to investigate, find out why that had happened, and it seems like now Saren's plan is to use the conduit to get to the Citadel and find a way to get Sovereign the opportunity to directly assume direct control over the Citadel and manually override it so that Sovereign could just activate the relay directly and send in all the Reapers that way. So, let's see. They could just attack? I mean, what, you're referring to specifically Sovereign? Or I guess I'm not totally sure.
Sovereign's the largest ship in the galaxy.
Oh, that, yes.
Why all this secrecy? Why not just attack the Citadel?
Sovereign is not invincible. Revealing its true nature would have united the forces of every organic species against it. Even a Reaper couldn't survive such odds. But the Reapers are patient. They will not rush into the unknown. Sovereign could have been planning this for centuries, moving deliberately, gathering allies. Slowly, it has assembled the pieces of the puzzle, working through agents to keep itself hidden. Saren is the most visible pawn of the Reapers,
Right.
But I doubt he was the first. Now Sovereign has grown bold. Whether from confidence or desperation, I cannot say. But it is determined to reopen the portal to dark space.
Okay. So then, what about the beacons? We, of course, have run into several beacons along the way and learned, or at least initially, we couldn't learn much of anything about the Protheans, but we have, at this point, seemingly been able to piece things together and understand that most of those beacons appear to have been some kind of warning from the Protheans, saying to beware of those Reapers.
What about the beacon on Eden Prime? And the one on Vermeer? What were they for?
At our apex, the beacons spanned the breadth of our empire. We used them as a single galaxy-wide network to transmit data and communications rapidly from world to world. Virtually all the beacons were destroyed during the invasion, but once the Reapers were gone, the survivors here on Ilos decided to risk sending out a message. We knew it was unlikely there were other survivors, but if there were, we wanted them to know about Ilos. We wanted to give them hope, so a message was sent across the network.
That does sound like a humongous risk. If the whole plan for Ilos was to remain isolated, remain hidden. And, well, sending out a message across the beacons would be, I would think, just the type of thing that could get you discovered.
You could have exposed yourself to the Reapers.
In truth, we didn't expect any of the beacons would still function, but we had to try. If there were survivors, we had to reach them. The message was meant for our own people. It was coded so only organic beings could interpret it. We still didn't understand the power of Reaper indoctrination. We never realized it could lead an agent of the machines, like Saren, to this world. But it has also led you here. So perhaps we did not fail after all.
Ooh, I don't know. We'll have to see. We're gonna have to find a way to stop Saren, of course. So then, the Keepers, turns out, you were saying, are in many ways sort of the key piece of this equation. The ones that are the link between the Reapers in dark space and them finding a way to get over here to attack us all in the Milky Way.
So when the Reapers created the Citadel, they created the Keepers as well?
A more likely scenario is that the Keepers were one of the early harvested civilizations, perhaps the very first. Perhaps they responded well to indoctrination, or the Reapers simply bred them to be obedient. In any case, they were left behind to operate and maintain the Citadel. But the Keepers are no longer directly controlled by Sovereign or its ilk. They evolved so that they only respond to the signals emitted by the Citadel itself. When the Protheans altered the Citadel's signals, they broke Sovereign's hold over the Keepers. Now, they are completely harmless.
Okay. So now instead of the Keepers, that's why Sovereign has resorted to enlisting the Geth?
Sovereign must have realized that organic races were difficult to control.
A likely hypothesis. The Keepers evolved in an unanticipated direction. Non-organic servants like the Geth would be more predictable.
Hey, we were supposed to bring up the Geth. How did you know we were going to mention the Geth? Okay, let's see. Then the scientists, so you said that you had to shut off the life support for the vast majority of them, but at the end of the day, 12 of the most important scientists did still survive, at least through that stasis period. But what happened after that?
What happened to the survivors from the Conduit project?
They used the conduit to gain access to the Citadel, but the conduit is only a prototype. The portal only links in one direction, so they were trapped on the station. I do not know what became of them then. It is unlikely they found any food or water on the station. I fear they suffered a slow, grim death. I only know they succeeded in their mission to seal the relay. Your presence here proves their sacrifice was not in vain.
Okay, then I suppose that is all we can learn here, and a lot, I mean a lot, of crucial information to help explain what exactly is happening here with Sovereign, Saren, and, by extension, the rest of the Reapers. And so, now I think you understand, or at least can start to understand, why we did in fact start to hear the main menu music as soon as we started approaching Vigil here, because these are, I mean, some of the most important details that we've learned thus far.
Saren's got enough of a head start. Grab that data file and let's go.
Shepard, are you sure? Who knows how much longer Vigil will be here? Even now the projection is weak. This might be our only chance to speak with it, our only link to the knowledge of the Protheans. It is the opportunity of a lifetime.
I mean, you are right.
It might know something useful.
I will provide whatever information I can. My data banks, however, are limited to information directly related to stopping the Reaper invasion.
Okay, and it looks like that was, in many ways, just a warning of sorts of like, hey, this is important stuff. You should probably pay attention and actually investigate this, rather than just speed through. So yeah, if you're playing along and you've not necessarily been making a point of investigating absolutely everything of absolutely every conversation that you had, this is probably a pretty darn important one to make a point of doing all that investigation, because as I was saying, these are the most important details that we've learned thus far about the Reapers and all the stuff that is going on here. So, but since we have done all that, I think it is truthfully time to go.
I've got the file. Come on.
The one you call Saren has not reached the conduit. Not yet. There is still hope if you hurry.